Hey everyone, welcome to Kreatryx YouTube channel, my dear friends. We are back. We are back with another video that is very important for all of you. That is the BARC interview guidance. So, beta, in this video, I'm going to be telling you about all the kind of questions that can be asked in BARC exam or BARC interview and how that BARC interview is actually conducted. So, this video is going to be very helpful for all of you who want to get into BARC, maybe this year, maybe next year. Those who dare to dream to get into organizations like BARC, ISRO, DRDO, they have to go through such a grueling kind of an interview. And for that purpose in mind, I am creating this video. Okay. Now, before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Ankit Goyal. I got All India Rank 1 twice in GATE in 2014 and 2018. I was awarded gold medal by President of India himself, and currently I'm serving Unacademy as a AVP. So now, bacho, you know just one thing, that when you are at our channel Kreatryx, one thing is for sure, that you are going to get quality content for free. My entire team works towards the students' welfare, and this channel has the maximum number of free videos for any learner to crack GATE and ESE or any other such examination like PSU, state PSCs, assistant engineer, junior engineer, whatever exam you want to crack. Okay. And this video is another initiative in that direction. And you also get a lot of interesting videos where we share our personal experiences, where we share motivation, guidance, all such kind of stuff. Also, you get on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to this channel and do hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video pops up. And beta, this is the link which you have to type in your browser in order to access all my special classes. Here I have provided a complete list of my special classes that I have taken in the past 2 years, and by accessing that you can access a lot of interesting content, and specifically the practice question, because theory we also cover in our YouTube classes. We provide all the concepts, but the major thing to crack exam like GATE is the problem part. So if you want to get problems, then visit this link. There are a lot of questions here. Now, how to prepare for BARC interview? See, the interviews conducted by BARC are much different than any other organization, whether it may be PSU or it may be IIT. See, BARC recruits for the post of scientific officer, or you can say scientist. And if you are applying for the position of a scientist, you need to have good concepts. You need to have in-depth knowledge of each concept, and hence the interview is quite detailed. Okay. And especially when we talk about PSUs, most of the interviews in PSU are very superlative. They are not very in detailed kind of thing. But when you go to BARC, there you have to face a completely different kind of environment where you will see people having the highest quality of knowledge, asking you question, testing your thought process. Okay. And the thing is, when you go to a BARC interview, they do not consider the weightage of the written exam. That is, even though you might have done well in the written exam, they will not consider that score, and they will just consider your interview performance. That is, interview becomes a kind of a knockout stage. Okay. Otherwise, in PSUs, there is a high weightage to the written test, or you can say GATE exam score, and interview carries a very small weightage of around 10 to 15% at the most. But here, written exam or BARC exam or the GATE exam is just for qualification purpose. Once based on the score in the written test, you get shortlisted. Thereafter, your interview will determine whether you get selected or not. So it is quite different from a PSU. Hence, preparing for this interview becomes all the more important. And beta, the careful thing that you have, the thing that you have to be careful about is your thought process. Is the way you convey your information, is the way you lay out all the facts. Okay, the thing is, beta, sometimes you may have a lot of knowledge. I don't deny that. Many people might have been preparing for GATE for multiple years, and they will have completely in detail knowledge. But what matters the most is that whether you are able to present that knowledge, whether you are able to make the other person understand that you know very well, that you have in detail knowledge of that concept. If that is the case, then you can crack an interview. Sometimes people do not have that great a knowledge, but they are able to portray things very well. And that actually helps in the interview. Don't think that you have to always talk in English. You have to have good communication skill. Then only you can crack the interview. No, my dear friend, you can crack the interview even though you might not be good at communication. Just be precise with whatever you speak. Don't speak unnecessarily. Don't add unnecessary information, because the more information that you add to your answers, there are more chances of cross questioning. If you keep your answer precise and to the point, containing only those terms which you are well aware about, okay, in that scenario, even if they cross question you, then also you will be able to answer. Now, beta, the number of students called for interview are 20 times the number of open positions, and hence there is a very, very high competition. And the interviews are grueling. They are in-depth, exhaustive, and long. That is, they don't take interview for the sake of interview. In many organizations, the interview is just conducted as a formality. But here they actually want to know what the candidate knows, how much knowledge do you have, whether you have the correct thought process. If you see throughout this video, I have been mentioning again and again one word, that is thought process. Because beta, many times what happens, you will not know the answer to each and every problem. Okay. Suppose they ask you about electric vehicle. Now, it's not necessary that you know in depth about electric vehicle. It's fine. But the way you approach their question, the way you link things. Suppose if somebody asks me any question from electrical engineering, which I'm not able to answer, if I can build up that answer from physics, even if I'm not able to reach the final answer, if I started from physics, started from the very basic, then definitely the interviewer will be impressed based on my basic concepts. See, a BTech student or just a graduate is not supposed to know everything. They are not specialized. They haven't learned in depth. They have just learned the basics of each and every subject. So if you can connect their question to the basic and you can start building from there on, it's also very impressive. It's not that you know every fact. Suppose if somebody asks you about electric vehicle, you know the entire history of electric vehicle, you know the entire design of electric vehicle, you know about the hybrid vehicle and everything. No, it's not required. Do you know the basics? Are your basics strong enough that you can apply them to any problem statement and get the result? If that is the case, there is no candidate better than you suited for that job. And as I told, these interviews are very, very long. They generally range from 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. And that is why these interviews are so prestigious, because student also knows once he clears these interviews, then it means that he has the highest level of knowledge of their respective branch. So it is a kind of, you can say, benchmark. Okay. That if you clear the BARC interview, then it means, okay, you have good knowledge. Some other points about the interview, beta. Very long duration, asking in-depth concept. When I talk about in-depth concept, that means they will keep on drilling down after every answer of yours. Suppose I ask you about electric vehicle, you explained that there is an electric motor, there is a battery which is running the motor. Now they might ask you what electrical motor is being used. Okay, you have told it. Then they will ask you what is the constructional feature of that motor. How is it different from any other motor? Why that motor is particularly preferred as compared to any other motor? So they will keep on drilling down. And the last level, the lowest level at which you can reach is basic physics. So if your concepts have risen from that, especially beta, if you have learned your core subjects with me, you must know one thing. If any of you have watched my YouTube courses or my plus courses, that I connect everything from the basic laws of physics. And if you have learned in that manner, I believe if you are my student, you will definitely be able to answer each and every question there. So they will ask you about your 5 favorite subjects. And it's very, very important that these 5 subjects include the subjects that are core to your branch. Like an electrical engineer should at least mention 2 out of the 3 core subjects, like machine, power system, and power electronics. Rest 3 subjects can be network analysis, control system, signal system, like that. Or you can say digital electronics. But remember, analog and digital electronics are 2 subjects where there can be a lot of interview questions. So be very, very clear about which subjects you are going to talk about, because network analysis, they may ask you a twisted question, but theory wise, there is not much to remember. Similarly, in control system, yes, they can ask you a few questions practically, but theory wise, there is not much to remember. So that is why you have to choose a good mix of the non-core as well as the core subject. Because if you take multiple core subjects, like you told about all the 3 core subjects, then every core subject has a lot of theory portion. In that scenario, beta, they can ask you a lot of questions and you might get stuck. But questions can again be asked beyond these topics. As I told, the favorite hobby of these interviewers is to go in depth, to keep connecting the topics. Suppose I asked you about electric vehicle, then I went to the motor, then I can go to power electronics in terms of drives. When I go to drive, suppose I talk about AC drives, there you talk about chopper, then I can come to the chopper. Though you might not have listed power electronics as one of your favorite subject, but I know how to go there. Okay. And it's not necessary, beta, that you will be able to answer each and every question. The longer this streak goes, the higher chances are of getting selected. Suppose I started from electric vehicle and follow up, I'm asking you 10 questions. Even if you are able to answer 8 or 9 of them, or even 7 of them, they will be highly impressed that you are able to answer their counter question. Because they will not stop until you stop, beta. They will not stop at any cost. Yes, if there will be somebody very, very brilliant, they might give up in that particular domain and they might switch to a different domain. But these people are highly knowledgeable people. And remember this thing, don't take too much of pressure. You are not supposed to know everything, but it's important how far you can go. In their series of questions, how far you can travel, that is the most important part. And sometimes they will ask you to use the board and derive some expression, or they might give you a certain configuration, certain figure. Like I have seen that they might draw a three-phase transformer on a core and they might ask you about the nature of the flux, the direction of the flux, all such kind of questions they will play around. So don't just expect them to ask blatantly theory questions. Yes, they might ask you certain configurations, certain mathematical derivations. So you need to be prepared mathematically. But asking a numerical to calculate, solve, that is very, very rare. Okay. And if you see beta 0.6 and 0.7, this is exactly the thing that I told you about, that your approach matters, whether you are able to approach a question. See, sometimes what happens when somebody asks us a question, we completely go blank and we are not even able to utter a single word. That is what is negative about your performance. But if somebody asks you a question and you are able to think about it, you are able to start it from scratch and reach up to a certain point, may not be the final answer, then it is very, very impressive. And beta, that is what exactly happens when I teach you guys. Sometimes you ask some questions which I'm not even very clear about. But when I discuss it with you, when I make it a two-way discussion, then actually I also learn that concept. Recently, after many years, I have taught EMT on Plus. And based on teaching to those Plus students, I have also learned a lot of concepts in EMT, because when you are teaching, actually you can't skip anything. Student will completely catch you at that point that you are skipping this. And that is what matters in interview as well, whether you are able to think it. Take it as a conversation with the interviewer. Just talk to them. And when you are continuously talking to them, they are bound to get impressed. Okay. Just a minute. Now, they might ask you simple question where thinking is required. Just as I told you, they will draw a configuration of three-phase transformer, ask you about the magnetic field, about the flux. And as you keep on answering, that difficulty level is going to increase, because they want to see your maximum. Up to what point can you go? That is why I told you will never be able to answer each and every question. At some point, they will go beyond your expertise. They will go beyond what you can tell. Only a few exceptional cases can be there where they will be able to answer everything. But on an average, don't expect yourself to answer everything. Just try and approach that problem. Don't just give up from the outside. Okay. And sometimes you might be asked only 2 questions in the entire 1 hour, but cross questioning will take time. They might not ask you multiple unique questions, but they will keep drilling down in order to see. And also, beta, not just your knowledge level is checked. Also your temperament, your patience is checked. Because sometimes what happens, if somebody keeps on cross questioning us, we lose our patience, we get irritated. But do not do that in an interview hall. Don't ever do that. Don't ever lose your patience. Be very cool, be very calm and composed like MS Dhoni, and you will be able to answer most of them. Now, let me give you a few examples. What type of control system is used in refrigerator and geyser? So suppose somebody asks you this question. Now, beta, first take a pause. One thing is very clear to me, that these are 2 temperature control devices. One is used for heating up the water and the other is used for cooling down the things. So first point that you will start is both these devices are temperature control system. Okay. And in both the devices, you have a set temperature, the amount of heat or the amount of cooling that you need. And how does a system ensure that it is giving you the desired output? By means of feedback. So you can say both of them are temperature control system and they have to be very accurate in terms of cooling or heating. So they have to use a feedback control system because feedback control system will improve accuracy. Now, the next cross question that will follow is, what are the types of feedback? They will ask you, you will say, sir, there are two types of feedback, positive feedback and negative feedback, where positive feedback is mainly used in case of oscillators and negative feedback is used in amplifiers. Now, they will ask you which one is more commonly used. You will say negative feedback. What are the advantages of using a negative feedback in a control system? That noise is reduced, distortion is reduced, error is reduced, accuracy is improved. All these things you can tell about. And then they can also deep dive. Suppose I ask you about the steady state error. I ask you about how noise is actually decreasing. All these questions can be correlated to this particular topic. So basically, this question is an entry point to the control system because the entry point is the feedback control system, and thereafter they can keep on cross-questioning you. Next is draw the inverting and the non-inverting amplifier of gain 10. I believe everybody can do it. For inverting amplifier of gain 10, you will draw RF equal to 10 R1. But for non-inverting amplifier, RF will be 9 R1 because the gain is 1 plus RF by R1, which is 10. But the difficult part is which one is good. See, you can say in terms of loading effect, non-inverting amplifier is better because its input impedance is infinite. So when we are cascading it with any other amplifier, there will be no such loading effect. And also in case of non-inverting amplifier, due to high input impedance, the noise will not get amplified. But in case of inverting amplifier, the noise may get amplified. Therefore, for audio and instrumentation purposes, non-inverting amplifier are better. So that way you can frame your answer. But for this, you need to know these points. Like you cannot just make up this, right? Just like in control system, based on your thought process, you can talk about things. But here, if you figure out that in inverting amplifier, the input current is zero and hence the input impedance is infinite, then you can approach from that perspective. Difference between microprocessor and microcontroller are very, very popular question. So can you guys tell me? In a microprocessor, all the peripherals are external to the processor. So the processor that we build is a general purpose processor designed to do multiple tasks. Like opening applications, opening files, editing files, running games, all these kind of stuff will be performed by microprocessor, and all the peripherals like memory is there, like input devices, output devices are there, are all external to this. Whereas in microcontroller, we build all the peripherals onto the same chip, and this microcontroller is not a very, very powerful processor. It is a small processor which is designated to do a particular task. It is not there for general purpose. Like when we use a microcontroller in a robot, suppose I have designed a line follower, then that microcontroller will only tell the robot to follow that particular line. It cannot do anything else. So microprocessor can perform a variety of function. It is heavier, it has higher processing power as well as it consumes more power. Whereas microcontroller is slower, it has a dedicated functionality and it consumes lesser power. Okay. Protection circuits for SCR. So there, beta, you can structure your answer very well. First, you can talk about overcurrent protection by means of a what? By means of a fuse and a crowbar thyristor. Over voltage protection by means of varistor. dV by dt protection by means of a snubber circuit. di by dt protection by either changing the construction of the device or using a series inductor. Gate protection by using a filter, a series resistor, and the last one, thermal protection by means of a heat sink. So in brief, you can tell about all these protection schemes, like name the protection scheme and tell one or two lines about it. Next, they're asking how does the snubber circuit work? So how do you structure this? You will say, sir, high dV by dt can cause undesirable triggering of the thyristor. So that is why we have to control dV by dt below the maximum allowable value by the SCR. How do we do that? We connect a capacitor in parallel to the SCR, which increases the effective capacitance when SCR is in forward blocking mode. In forward blocking mode, SCR is modeled as a junction capacitance. If a capacitance is added in parallel, it increases C, which reduces the rate of change of voltage dV by dt. How to select the rating of resistor used in the snubber circuit? You know very well, the resistance value is chosen based on the maximum discharging current allowed. Because when SCR turns on, capacitor will discharge through the resistor. So how much discharging current are we allowing? That will define the rating of the resistor. How to select the rating of a circuit breaker, relation between making and breaking capacity? So you will say circuit breaker rating is decided on the basis of the most severe fault, which is a three-phase symmetrical fault. Though this fault is most rare, but it has the highest MVA rating. So MVA rating of circuit breaker is the MVA rating of three-phase short circuit fault at the circuit breaker location. Relation between making and breaking capacity. Breaking capacity refers to the power handled by the circuit breaker when it opens the circuit. Making capacity is the power handled by the circuit breaker at the maximum current at the peak current in the subtransient region. And you know that making capacity is 2.55 times the breaking capacity. Now, how they can drill down? They can ask you how this factor of 2.55 is determined. Derive that. You will say, sir, 1.8 into root 2 into I symmetrical. They will ask you why this factor of 1.8. You will say that during the subtransient region, there is AC as well as DC offset current. So we are using an empirical factor that is experimentally determined factor of 1.8 to accommodate for DC offset current along with the AC current. So that way they can ask you to derive this on board and explain it. Draw torque slip characteristic of induction motor that you have to draw on a paper or you have to draw on a board. Power slip characteristic on the same plot. I have also taught you power slip characteristic. And you have to mark different zones like motoring mode, generating mode, and braking mode. Now they will see that there is negative power in generating as well as braking mode. So then why don't we use the braking mode for generation of power? So what you are going to say, sir, that the torque is very, very low in the braking mode and hence the power is also very low. It will not be able to generate a significant amount of power and hence we have to use the generating mode for generating the power. How will you connect a single phase load to a three-phase supply? Always remember, beta, whenever we connect a single phase load to a three-phase supply, we always connect it between line to line. We never connect it between line to neutral because that causes more unbalancing as compared to when a single phase load is connected line to line. Here they can also drill down upon the star-star connection with oscillating neutral, right? When the neutral is not grounded, it leads to oscillating neutral. There also the solution is to connect between line to line so that third harmonic voltage will be absent. So if they ask you, why don't you want to connect between phase and neutral? You can say, sir, between phase and neutral, there may be a third harmonic which may deteriorate the performance of the load. But if we connect between line to line, zero sequence or the third harmonic will be absent and hence it will be safer to operate. Now they can drill down on the basis of this unbalancing, zero sequence, third harmonic. There you have given them an entry point to explore more about it. And remember, my friends, when you talk about harmonic, there is no knowledgeable person that won't be interested in probing further. They will definitely be interested in asking you more about harmonics. It is especially one of my most favorite topics when I talk about core subjects. So that's it, guys. And one thing I would like to tell you, beta, that the prices are going to increase very, very soon. So if you want to join Unacademy, join it right away. And if you have already cleared multiple exams, then a very big congratulations to you. Just gear up for this interview. Watch this video, explore more such kind of questions that have been asked in BARC interview and prepare for them. Also, beta, we are running a 20% off discount. So based on prices after hike and the current prices after discount, you can save up to 30%. Almost 30% saving is there. Don't let this offer go, bacho. That is what I am going to tell you. You have to use the code Ankit ESE and you have to get your subscription. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Such opportunities come very, very rarely. And from 18th of May, I am starting my new subject, network analysis. That will be done from basic to the very, very advanced level. And there you will get to learn not only the theoretical aspects, but also the problem solving part of it. And beta, when you join Unacademy, join Iconic. In Iconic, you get extra personal coach. This is a topper from GATE and ESE who will guide you on each and every aspect of your preparation. Whenever you are stuck in any topic, you can get in touch with them. Whether you are stuck in terms of strategy, in terms of motivation, they'll always be there for you. And for working professional and college student, they will create a study planner, which is the most important because you guys have limited time and you have to make best use of that time. And for that, you need a timetable. Study booster session, teachers will conduct study booster session to guide you. Test analysis, there they will tell you about your weaknesses and how you can overcome your weaknesses. Study material will be delivered to your doorstep and dedicated doubt clearing educator that will conduct one-to-one sessions with you to clear your queries. If you can't afford Iconic, then go for Plus. In Plus, you have live as well as recorded classes. Every Sunday there is test. All the batches and courses are structured. You have unlimited access. You can watch any educator, any subject. Rank improvement batches and crash courses are also there. And the best part, beta, all of this is also included in Iconic. But the offerings of Iconic are not available to Plus user. So Iconic gives you more benefits than Plus. And this is the result that we have produced in GATE 2022 Electrical and Electronics. You can see there are multiple rankers under 10 as well as under 100. And you can be one of them too in the next year, beta. If you want your photo to be there on this poster, then you have to just join Unacademy and promise us as well as yourself that you will honestly work as hard as you can with us. And then you see that is where the magic begins. And beta, we have also launched a 9-month subscription. There also you can use the same code. And right now you will be getting 20% discount even on this 9-month subscription because the exam is in Feb. So you can opt for 9-month subscription. So you can decide the duration of the subscription, but don't forget to use the code Ankit ESE. This code will not only give you 20% discount, but it will also bring you under my personal guidance. And you know, this year, 6 out of top 10 rankers in GATE have studied under my personal guidance and see the kind of result they have obtained. We also have a light subscription for the students studying themselves that are not joining any institute, any courses. This is a test series where you will get subject test, part test, multi-subject test, mock test. And here also, if you use the code Ankit ESE, you will get 20% discount. And this test series is already very, very cheap. And here you will see all the top educators performing video analysis. And we have also launched the study material with our subscription. This study material has been prepared by our top educators. It covers the syllabus in detail. Every concept has solved examples to illustrate the problem solving technique. At end of every chapter, we have chapter-wise practice question. You can access it anywhere, anytime. It is available for Plus as well as Iconic learners. So don't forget to join Unacademy to access this awesome material using the code Ankit ESE. And remember, beta, the formatting of this material is so interesting that any learner can learn from this material and you will never ever want to stop. You will always want to keep learning going ahead. And if you join Iconic for 1 year or more, this study material will be delivered to your doorstep in hard copy, because I know that most of the students prefer hard copy as compared to a soft copy or an app version of the notes. So if you want hard copy notes, then you have to opt for Iconic for more than 1 year. These are the latest batches that we have started, Pragati and the Lakshya batch for 23 and 24. And here Bhima Shankar sir has started 7 a.m. network analysis. And from 18th of May, 7 a.m., I'm also starting network analysis. If you wish to start your journey with me, don't hesitate, join right now. And remember, after network, I'll be starting electrical machine, then power system, then power electronics. So the season of electrical engineering will start now. And at Unacademy, beta, you can ask as many doubts as you want. You just have to click the picture, crop it, submit it, and tag your branch. Along with tagging your branch, you have to tell us the preferred language of video solution that you want. We will create a video solution in that particular language. If you get the video solution, you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, and you can also request for review where we will check that solution again. If it is not up to the standard, we will recreate it and send it to you. And this is my Telegram channel. Don't forget to join it for latest updates for all the study material and all the video links that I provide on this particular Telegram channel. And if you still have any queries related to Unacademy, don't hesitate and just call this number. But don't forget to use the code Ankit ESE. They will tell you about the offers, about your preparation journey, and about subscription. So thank you, everyone. I hope you liked this video and you found it helpful. If you really liked it and found it helpful, don't forget to like and share this video. And soon I'll be meeting you again. Till then, bye-bye. Let's crack it.